going to get into the real questions we all want to know about a certain game.
That's crazy.
Yeah!
But if you don't agree with somebody, hit him with an RKO.
Hey, you know what that is now.
My dad is so proud of me right now. He's like, man, is it going to be on ESPN? No, it's not going to be on ESPN. No! Ooh, some of like the weirdest like game day superstitions or antics.
This ain't no regular thing. I came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This is my city, yeah, this is my team. You see my name in the lights, better get right, I'm champion.
You ready, Caleb?
I was born ready.
You got the intro.
Do I? Can I do one finally?
If you can do it.
I'm not gonna do it at the level you want me to.
I just want you to introduce.
I just want to do the intro the way I want to do it.
This is too much. You're being too much. Just do it.
Hey folks, welcome back to another.
Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of That's How You
just
Feel.
do it the way I want to do it.
As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and
You
share.
should just have it forever. Like I don't ever want to do the intro anymore.
Well, because you stutter over it every time.
You're right. Never mind. I'm sorry.
That's why I just take it. But if you haven't, take a chance to look at our Patreon. We do have a couple options on there to subscribe for additional content. You can get some additional questions of the day each week, and we also have some additional side quests.
That's how you feel. But you see how annoying.
No, I think it's great. I was excited.
Shut up.
More importantly, we have a guest today I would like to introduce. We're going to talk a little bit more about why he's here today, but I would like to introduce Mr. Kevin Saxton. Insert the claps.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should figure out how to like mimic or replicate that Jennifer Hudson like tunnel walkthrough that they do. Like just the two of us.
What song could we do for Kev?
We'll figure out something that
We got you. Well, we got to do one for
Let's
Kev.
do it.
We can't just leave him out now.
No, we can't.
Hey, I do have some fun facts, though. I want to. Normally, when
Kevin?
we have guests on, we tell our fans
Okay.
3 fun facts. So, wanted to share a couple. One thing is Kev. I found out this recently, and this. I mean, I think we're best friends now, but
You said his name, right? Kevin Saxton.
yes, Kevin Saxton.
All right,
Sorry,
cool.
sometimes goes by Kev. So if I
What do you want to
say
be
Kev-
called?
Yeah, would you prefer Kev or Kevin?
It doesn't matter.
What,
Honestly,
what do your friends call you?
both.
Okay, never mind. I'm trying to.
He's trying to become a friend.
You might get one that calls me Daquan every now and then.
Daquan?
Yeah, you know.
Where's Daquan come from?
My alter, that's my alter ego.
Oh,
Daquan, not
Yeah.
Daquan.
Nah, so first time I ever met my wife's parents. That's how I introduced myself.
Why?
Daquan.
Why not?
And they went with it, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, she still.
Now the whole-
mother-in-law still calls me Daquan to
Oh,
this
seriously? They know your name's Kevin, right?
day. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That'd be funny.
That's
It's like on the
hilarious.
wedding, on the invite, it said just for theirs, Lauren and Daquan.
Julia, can you hear the child in the background? Okay, we're joined with a live audience today.
Which is the cutest live audience.
Yeah.
So Kevin is a father. He has a 1-year-old son who is absolutely precious. He also is married and has a lovely wife named Lauren. Everybody say hi
sit right
to
here.
Mr. Trey. Say what's up.
Key wave.
He better feel lucky as all get out. My own son ain't been on this show yet.
Key wave.
You got dad.
It's all
don't
right.
you?
Next
being
week,
shy.
my son's coming on the podcast.
Oh, found mama. So
Next week, my son's coming.
also,
he ain't about to upstage me.
he's a
Trey.
He's a WWE fan,
I am.
which makes me happy. When your
like
wife
for
told me
real,
this,
like don't-
Yeah, for
like,
real.
You're
Like,
not like
20 plus years.
the-
Yeah.
why though?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Like, young, I was visiting my grandparents, my uncle, and one night he turned it on, and it was just like,
Who was your first who are you first a fan of? Like, who was like the first person you were like, I'm cheering for this guy?
I've always been a fan of like tag teams, so the Hardy
Oh.
Boys.
oh yeah. So have you seen them come back recently?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Were you wanting him to say The Rock?
No, he could have said anybody.
The Rock is
I'm
the
just
only
glad
wrestler
he
he
didn't say
likes.
Mankind or something. I'm like,
That's
Mick
true.
Foley.
you're a Foley fan? Ugh.
Yeah.
No, the Hardy Boys are great. I'm more of a Dudley Boys.
Yeah, I like the
Fan
Dudley
better.
Boys.
Look, you're
Yep.
pulling out some knowledge there. You've been
I
studying.
used to be a fan.
You've hit it. Real quick, though, I want to get... Also, so Kevin is one of the coaches for the Kansas City Chiefs, so he is a Super Bowl champion. And then, yes, huge props to that.
Not this year.
Wow.
No, wait. Let me not roast him. I'm sorry. We're going to cut that part.
We're kicking Caleb off the show. But also...
Oh, my God.
I'm the new co-host.
Yeah. Him and Trey.
Everybody wants to replace me.
You're easily replaceable.
That's true.
But also, so he's a big football fan. We're going to talk about some of his experience here in a little bit. But also in high school, he liked to run track, but actually got kicked off of the team because he wouldn't run, is what I was.
Yeah, it wasn't more so like running track. Like I was there to high jump. Like that was it.
Oh,
Like,
and so then
how
they-
you gonna be on a track team and,
and
you're
then
like,
they
nah,
kicked you
coach,
off
I don't feel
'cause
like running today.
It's a long story.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Was it like the practice ones? Yeah.
I mean, I guess I got time. So, ironically, track coach lives behind us in my neighborhood. They're ahead of the HOA. So,
Oh.
got a lot of complaints and stuff in the mail. And so, I don't know, it was one track meet and we are not doing so hot as a team, but everybody's just, we're in high school. So
Yeah.
we got out of school early, right? It's, I'm pretty sure it was a Friday. So, everybody's just kind of hanging out, going to concession stand, having a good time. And so then we come back to practice afterwards and the next day. And, he's like, I never want to see that again. Blah, 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 blah. So we're gonna spend today just running. We're not gonna do anything else. We're just gonna run. Since everybody just wants to sit around and have a good time, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm just like, well, like I'm not running. Like I'm not here to do that. I just qualified for states. Like I want to work on my technique.
Yeah.
Hadn't high jump before. Like I want to actually, practice and get good, right? And so then it was just a lot of back and forth. And basically he was like, if you don't like it, you can leave. And so then I was like, all right.
You're like, I didn't know that was an option. but-
You're like out.
all right
Peace.
then.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So-
and also I heard that you have a fascination with ants, that you love ants.
Yeah. Love them.
He does not. He
Who
hates
is giving these facts to you?
he hates ants, and that would
Hate
be his
ants.
wife, Lauren.
Hate ants.
Okay.
Which I
Like-
appreciate because I hate ladybugs, and people think I'm weird for that.
They're supposed to bring you good luck, right? If you don't kill them.
Hey,
that how it goes?
ants are smaller than ladybugs.
Yeah.
So,
Ants
okay.
bite though. Like
Oh, the fire ones do
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And there's some
Do you know
other
where
ones
that-
that bite too.
Yeah.
What?
There's some other ants that
Yeah.
just kind of bite.
That's true. I don't like ants. I'm not here for them either. But.
yeah.
So, like, if they get into your house, is that like a Lauren project, or will you take care of them?
What do you mean by take care of them? Like call the right people to come and. I mean.
Will you kill them? Get rid of them.
I mean. Yeah. I mean, I'll step on. I'll step on them.
hey, my wife has to put up with my fear of bugs, and so
Yeah.
once you get married, you have to
You
step
got
up.
your spouse killing spiders in the house for you?
No, I had to become a man when I got married, and I have had to kill every spider.
I've killed a few.
It's not fun.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they walk away like it was no big deal, and I'm there
We gotta talk
traumatized.
Spiders.
Killing spiders is very easy.
Depends on your fear levels.
Spiders is very low. If it was a grasshopper, if it's a cicada, my wife's got to get it.
What?
If it's a cicada, my wife has to get it.
There was
I'm
a
not.
cicada in the garage, and he he flicked his flip flop and ran inside.
Oh my! Oh, yeah. Oh God, I'm so uncomfortable right now. Just the thought of a cicada being in the house. Oh, I can't.
Well, we're gonna get to comments here in a second. We are gonna deep dive into a little bit of Kevin's history and his experience. Like I said, he does coach for the NFL right now, but he's got a lot of really cool background. Some at Emory and Henry, Benedict, and some more that we'll talk about. So really excited to hear about kind of your passion and how you've gotten to where you are and the transition and all that stuff. So,
And we're gonna get into the real questions we all want to know about a certain game. No, I'm just playing. But let's go in the comments though. Yeah. I got them. All right.
Kevin,
So
you were serious about the co-host, right?
whatever.
You do live closer.
Don't threaten me with a good time, okay? I'll walk off. If you don't like it, I can go home. Don't threaten me. All right, this first comment, we were talking about you were having me rank fast food joints.
Oh, keep 5 and the other
Keep
5.
5 and eliminate 5. And I had Chipotle at like number 9 or 8, 7. And
Respectfully.
Gabe Counts said you had to dish Chipotle. And Chipotle is not
Chipotle fan,
bad. It's just not.
No.
It's not great.
mid.
It is wildly average.
When it started, it was really good
Why? Why was it really good?
because it was new. But
Thank you. Oh my god.
but ever since E. coli, it ain't been the same.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Their chicken is delicious. And
Oh,
their
yeah.
steak
And the
is
season.
delicious. But them as a whole, as a unit, incredibly mid. Like,
To be fair, Kevin, and I hope that you don't have this kind of taste.
it's Mr. Saxton to you.
I believe that's the other way around. Caleb is Wendy's and Burger King kind of guy. Like,
There's nothing wrong with that, and I think I can agree on the fact
Really?
that
Wendy's?
Wendy's chicken nuggets are off the chain.
what?
Their spicy chicken. Don't you disrespect
They're
Dave's.
Oh, to be fair, I've never had the spicy ones.
off the
I
chain.
almost said Dave Thomas, but it's Dave. It is Dave Thomas. I almost said Dave Sanders, but that's Colonel Sanders is KFC. Dave Thomas is Wendy's.
Go on next one.
All right, next comment. All right, this is not even like it's a comment from a clip, but it's more of a review. This is from Baked Chips 00. Here's an honest review. I tried with this podcast, but nothing and everything they talk about is so obvious that they legit have no clue what they're talking about. Yeah, it's easy to buy all the stuff and create decent looking podcasts, but you can tell from the get-go that they are only doing this for the money. Nothing about this podcast
What
is
money?
authentic. 2 out of 10 star review.
Thanks for the review, but also
Thanks, Baked Chip.
I would love to see what money is coming from this because
So he left that comment 10 days ago, but he left a comment 14 days ago. Bruh, who's going to tell these people their content sucks?
so he's just trolling at this point.
Maybe he's really trying to help us out. Thank you, Baked Chip. You know,
Get Big Chip on the show then.
come pull up.
Pull up.
If you watch this comment, DM us. Maybe we'll fly you out.
Yeah, watch him comment. I heard y'all calling me out.
This comment comes from Curious Battling. We were talking about self-checkout. I pulled some old ones. Yeah, no, I'm always using self-checkout. These cashiers talk too much and I ain't got it in me.
Amen.
Bro,
Amen. You're not wrong.
I really don't like... Okay, I love to use the cashiers. I love...
Because you want to keep him in business.
Gotta
That's
keep
what-
them in business. But like, if
That's his charity work, y'all.
it is. If they're older though, they gotta talk to everybody. And I'm just like, oh, I don't like it. Like, you don't have. Here's my beef with a lot of people that try to make friends with like everybody they interact with. Like, bro, get your stuff and get at it. Like, you're in the way. Like, people are always trying to make friends with the cashier and the receipt checker at Costco. I'm like,
What do people do that don't bug you?
it's not a. Oh boy, that's a real short list.
Are you a self-checkout kind of guy?
Honestly, here recently have become more of a go through the actual checkout line, but I feel like a lot of places, Target, you're starting to lose a lot of those lines, so you have no choice but to go through self checkout.
Yeah. Even Walmart's cutting down. I mean, you can barely.
I'd love the checkout lanes though. Like, I love to be polite and be like courteous and like say, hey, great, thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care. I love to. I give them all that. I give them 10 out of 10 interaction with me. But what do people do that don't bug when they change lanes and get out of my lane? 10 out of 10 move. You're
then-
in the way.
What's the next comment?
There's no more comments. I just wanted to read some reviews.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to some questions of the day. Question of the day.
No.
All right. What did you want to be when you grew up as a child, and why?
I wanted to be a ninja.
It was a dream.
No, true story. This is kind of funny because my Instagram handle is Caleb was an entertainer. I wanted to be an entertainer because I remember first watching like the Kings of Comedy, and I remember watching Cedric the Entertainer, and I was like, that guy's funny. And then I remember watching like Jamie Foxx, and he could sing and do stand up, and I was like, I want to be the next Jamie Foxx. So And then my dad made me sing and dance as a kid. So
Oh yeah, he used to be in a band,
Okay.
a boy band. He was in LA. He did some Blue Springs tours.
one of these days, we're gonna have an episode where you don't mention my past.
What, Mixed Track?
Shut up.
That's the name of the band. What about you, Kevin? Though, like when you were growing up, do you remember like you always wanted to be
Young. I really don't remember. Once I got to middle school, I had my mind made up. I was like, I want to be a sports agent.
okay? So you always kind of wanted to go in the sports field.
Yeah. And,
Crazy.
and that died out pretty quick. But
Hey, but you're still. I mean, you made it somewhere.
yeah.
I don't know. I made this question. I don't really think I had an answer for that one. I think I would have said probably like a police officer or something like that.
I definitely didn't want to be
That or a
cop.
WWE wrestler. I have always wanted to jump in a WWE ring.
I think I wanted to be a cowboy at one time, or an Indian, or Native American.
You just wanted to live that life.
I used to make like bows and arrows in my backyard. I made several bows and several arrows when I was a kid. None of them worked, but I made them.
So you were a pyromaniac when you were a kid,
Oh yeah, I was a huge
and you were
fire
creating
starter.
weapons in your backyard.
I still have not told the stories of me starting fires. I lit several fires as a kid. I lit so many fires as a child that I had to have a meeting with like the fire chief of Blue Springs.
That's sad, Caleb.
And he told me, he's like, if you light one more fire, you're not going to go home after that fire. And I was like, okay. And then I did light another fire though.
But you didn't get caught.
I wasn't in Blue Springs. I was in Independence, not their jurisdiction.
What's a strange food combination you enjoy that other people find odd?
Mustard on eggs. Yeah, I said it right. Mustard on. It's not bad. Mustard, yellow mustard on eggs. It is quite nice.
No.
Mayonnaise on hot dogs.
You've been on that road before. It's an LA thing.
Love a good glizzy. I do. And mayonnaise. Oh gosh. Miracle Whip on a hot dog. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Miracle Whip or mayo? That's the real question because Miracle Whip is disgusting.
I was gonna say they both taste the same.
Neither.
Neither. So you're not a mayo or okay. Is there any strange food? I found out you're picky.
Yeah, I'm decently picky. Chocolate milk and cereal. I feel like some people
that sounds delicious.
Well, it is delicious, but there are some people that may find that kind of odd,
Yeah.
right? Like
What kind of cereal?
I'm all about that.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops.
So any kind.
None of those with chocolate milk though.
No, all of those with chocolate
Did
milk.
you say Fruit Loops?
Hey, Mr. Mustard Eggs over there.
No, whoa.
No, you got to try it.
Chocolate milk and Fruit Loops.
Try it.
Chocolate covered strawberries.
Try it. You'll come back. You'll come back to the next show and you'll be like, hey,
You ain't
the
wrong.
chain.
That sounds terrible.
it's awesome.
Okay, I think it's gonna be absolutely terrible because no one does this. But we're gonna find out, Kevin, and see if you're correct or if you're insane, like I think you are. I'm already mad about this. Everybody knows you gotta stab your cereal a couple times. That was not good. This tastes like medicine. But I'm gonna get another bite though. Yeah, no. This ain't it. It sounds terrible. Though.
It's delicious.
I'm glad we didn't
It's
do it
delicious.
today because we were not trying mustard with eggs.
It's not bad. It's not a 5-star dinner, but I tried it and I was like, oh. And I've been putting mustard on my eggs for weeks now. This is a new thing I found.
I don't know if
Mustard
I
on
could-
eggs.
I don't know if
Do
I
you
can
like
make that
mustard
shit.
as it is?
Yeah, I mean mustard's fine.
Okay.
It's not like my go-to condiment.
Because some people
though.
are like, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's not like my go-to condiment.
What else am I doing?
Like a regular sandwich, I'll some mustard on there, but
But no mayo?
no.
Really? Okay. See, I have to have all the mayo. Again, I did not come up with the weird food combination. But I mean, you could think about like, those aren't weird. I was gonna say salt on cucumbers. That's not weird though. Well, do you you like pizza?
I do like pizza.
Do you dip your pizza in ranch?
Absolutely.
He gets cooler every second.
I mean, I don't have to, but like I will.
And it's better that way.
It's good regardless.
Have you ever had honey on your pizza?
Like the
Not
Hot honey?
not just regular honey, but yeah, hot honey would work too, I guess.
honey's all right.
Yeah, it's good.
Pepperoni.
Have you dipped your Wendy's fries in a Frosty before?
Yes.
Yes, but I don't go to
Splendid.
Wendy's.
chocolate frosty.
What do you dip in ice cream?
A spoon.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
However, let's get to the real reason why we're here.
Yep. Super Bowl. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Kevin Saxton, you are now in what I think a lot of people would see as kind of one of the dream jobs. Like you're in the NFL. But before we even get to kind of your experience in that, I really want to kind of dive into, first off, growing up, were you always into football?
So
you ran track. Like,
so starting out, so I come from a basketball
He didn't
family.
run track.
yeah.
I come from a basketball family.
Okay.
And I actually started out my younger years, basketball, soccer, baseball. I did actually run track.
He's like, no, I did.
So I played all those other sports. My first experience playing football, go out there, go to practice, come home, crying. I don't want to play anymore. Mom tells me, then you're going to go to the coach and you're going to tell him that you don't want to play anymore and tell him why you don't want to play. So go, tell him I don't want to play anymore. Just tell him I don't like it. So about a week goes by.
That's the second story. Them saying, if you want to quit, you just got to say, I want to quit. And you're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Okay, bad. Like, I just got to go tell him. Oh, he's, sir, I'm out.
So about a week goes by. I'm like, man, like, I'm bored. Like, I miss this. So then I'm like, I really want to play. So then I go back, ask to be back on the team. So like that was my initial start. And then ever since then, I got to a point, crossroads in high school where I had to make a decision. Do I go to college, play football? Do I go to college, play basketball? Like, what I want to do. And
had you gotten offers for both at that point?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and then, so you were a quarterback, correct?
yes. Once I got to middle school.
Middle school. Okay. Yeah. Is that the main role you played from there on out?
Yeah. I played. So in high school, played a little quarterback and receiver, played a little both. And then just played quarterback my senior year and then played quarterback all through college.
So you've always, you were interested in football and then you got signed. Where did you end up going to play after high school?
So I went to Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina, and I was there for a year, and then I transferred to Emory Henry.
Okay, and that's where you spent the most of your college, correct? Or did you
4
the
more
rest
years.
of it? Yeah. And had you already met your wife at this point?
No.
Okay.
I met her while I was coaching there.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So then you go on to Emory and Henry, and you do have a pretty good record there. Lots of records that you broke.
Sorry.
No, brother, don't be like, oh,
Mr. Humble.
I did all right. Pop off, brag about
No,
yourself.
you know what I'm saying? I played within the system of how my coaches wanted me to play.
And you had success.
Try to be so humble. Yeah,
Well, just to
records up there.
He was the 2014 ODAC. What is ODAC?
ODAC, Old Dominion Athletic Conference.
Okay, I just
bunch of smart schools.
So he's the 2014 ODAC Freshman of the Year. You won Male Newcomer of the Year. You also broke records on attempts for 387, completions 238, yards for 2,707, and passing touchdowns 25. So I'd say you had a pretty good record there. And that was just your freshman year, right?
Yeah.
It was all downhill from there.
Low key.
No, because he started. Now I'm going to go off this memory. 2015, you started 9 of the games, and then 2016, you started 10, correct?
I started all 10 up until 2017.
Okay, so
2017 had a little injury, missed a couple games.
Did you ever bounce back fully from that injury?
Kind of.
I
Leg's still a little swollen in the spot, but I'm fine. I'm not walking with a limp or anything like that. I'm good.
I'm still going for the high jump.
Nah.
So, side question: who were you watching when you were playing? Like, who were you a fan of when you played?
Middle school, me, Michael Vick.
Okay.
I was left-handed. I'm still am left-handed. But middle school, me, Michael Vick.
But you grew out of it.
high school me, Darren Thomas, Oregon Ducks. College me, Marcus Mariota, a few others, but those were kind of the main ones.
Were you big on Tom Brady at that time? Because I know he was probably the bigger one. Exactly.
Nah, I'm just playing. I mean, not necessarily.
And you can no
that's
comment.
That wasn't.
That wasn't your person. Yeah, I know he was the big one
Yeah.
at that time. So
Yeah, no, that I mean, for me, it was more so like guys that looked similar to how I looked, right?
well,
So
and like you said with the left hand too.
left-handed,
Michael Vick.
or so like you got guys like Dennis Dixon, Darren Thomas. They were skinny. I was super skinny, so like it was kind of the physical attributes that was like, all right, this guy is similar to my build, how I, so.
That makes sense.
Did you ever see yourself trying to like model the way that you played after these folks?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So celebrations and like moves like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the gear, like the sweat, like,
Okay.
yeah.
So your wife. So you said you met your wife when you were coaching there. So she never saw you play actually. Then
She didn't get the
blessing. Of
the blessing of being able to watch me out there.
Hey, videos at least.
Nah, I swiped the internet.
That's okay. That's okay. Now we can't find them on the internet. So you played for the rest of your years at Emory Henry.
Yep.
From there, is that when you started coaching at Emory and Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I
EH.
had like a small stint of playing in the Arena League, like right after graduation. But then that fall, I started at Emory Henry, coaching the running backs. That was my first job.
Nice. And I guess my question beforehand was after playing college football, was your goal to play in the NFL as a quarterback?
That
No?
was never honestly, that was never a goal of mine.
Okay.
Oh, really? So it was just like because you obviously went to school like on a scholarship, and so when you're there, like you say, your goal is not the NFL. Like, what was your goal in school? Was it just like, hey, get the degree?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, like I said, middle school, my whole ambition was to be a sports agent. Mm-hmm. So like my whole mindset was, I'm going to play. I'm going to, try and have an incredible career, right? Leave my name, my legacy, stamp myself in the record books, and then move on about my life. Cause I understand the aspects of like the getting hurt, all those types of things. And so like, I didn't want to be a human vegetable
For sure.
30 years from now, just
Yeah.
from, hits and stuff like that. And so like, that was always kind of my thing, is like, just go take my time, play my time in college, and then let's maneuver my mindset to the next phase of life.
Gotcha.
Right on.
And then, when you went to transition to coaching, did that approach you or did you approach coaching?
It actually approached me. So my last semester in school, that spring semester, going into it was a couple weeks before spring ball. Our running back coach at the time left to take another job, and so shout out Kurt Newsom, my head coach at the time, and called me in with the rest of the offensive staff, and it was like, hey, our running back coach is leaving, and he was like, have you thought about coaching? Is it something that you may be interested in? If so, the job is yours for you to take, if that's something
awesome.
that you want to do. And he didn't make me make a decision right then and there. He gave me time. So I basically took that entire time into June, July before I made a decision.
Wow.
Because I basically spent that summer studying LSAT. Like,
Yeah.
again, my mindset was, do I try and go to law school first, then try and, go more focused into the sports side, like,
Yeah.
and just prepare myself that way. But yeah, so the opportunity kind of presented itself to me.
Yeah. Okay. And then you went with it. Was there a big difference from playing to coaching? How was that transition?
Not really. I did a lot on the field in terms of in-game checks, like stuff like that. And so it was second
were
nature.
already
It was
doing?
second nature to me. So there wasn't really the biggest change was now guys that I'm hanging out with every day now I'm coaching those guys. So that was the biggest thing. But I think when you get to a certain point of being a leader per se and having the following of your teammates and stuff, it makes it a smooth transition compared to if you weren't really in a leadership type role.
Yeah.
That's where it gets a little more tough for those guys to, allow you to kind of cross that bridge there.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying that like you can tell when a coach comes in that really doesn't have any like experience like playing the sport. But do those situations even really happen where a coach will come in with like not a lot of like they didn't actually play the game. They just are like an analytics guy or anything like that. So like that doesn't happen often, right?
I mean, I think there's more than people
Realize.
may know. Yeah. I think there's certain levels to it. So like, it's not that they never played the game. They may have, they maybe just didn't play in college.
Okay.
And so then you'll get some of those guys that immediately when they get to college, they're student assistants, freshman year of college, right? And they're getting themselves around the staff, around the team, and being in that avenue and that space of coaching, just as a student and just kind of growing and maturing, in that role and developing into coaches.
Did you play Madden?
I'm more of an NCAA guy than Madden.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But have I played Madden? Yes, I have played Madden.
I was like, who was your team in Madden?
So let's go back PlayStation 2.
Okay.
We can go a little
PlayStation
1.
You
right?
remember
Madden 2000.
I
With
was going to say, you're older than me. I was going to say, do you remember that?
the intro to Madden 2000, phenomenal. But I didn't really have a team at that time of like who I would play with, just kind of play. But once we started to get to like 2004, Michael Vick, man, on Madden
Falcons? Was that your kind of go-to team?
Yeah, I was a Falcons fan growing up too, and
Which I get it. I mean, that was your quarterback at the time, so.
yeah, I mean, but he just, because I'm pretty sure he had like a 99 overall speed, and so it was just like you just drop back, just run around. They're not gonna catch him. I mean,
I was like, no, you can't pick him, man. Pick anybody like you pick. I bet you ain't gonna pick this. You ain't gonna pick them. You ain't gonna pick. Beat me with Carolina then. Like,
so, but that was early on. After that, I mean, it didn't really just kind of play with whoever hit the three randoms, play with the best team that you get.
How long did you coach at ENH?
Technically 3 seasons.
3 seasons?
But like COVID hit, so then it was over.
How was that during COVID? How did football work during COVID?
Honestly, that was the time that my wife and our relationship really blossomed because we weren't allowed on campus. So then I went to Lynchburg. I was only supposed to go for a couple weeks. Ended up being like 3-4 months. But like we were able to see each other, spend time together, be around each other. And like I said, like that's when our relationship blossomed.
Yeah. Well, and you had more time to be together too.
Yeah.
How did you guys, can I ask, how'd you guys meet? I'm pretty sure you've told, sorry, I'm looking at his wife, told me before, but.
Shout out my man Cam Beecraft. That's how we met.
Okay.
We coached together. They went to high school together freshman year. And so there's a little more to the story.
But Cam, he helped you.
Yeah, that's who we're giving.
All
the
right.
credit goes to Cam.
All right. I love it. What was your favorite part about ENH?
As a player, as a coach, or just
Overall, but I mean, you can break it down as a player and a coach.
overall, I'm a sucker for being in like the mountain type area. So coming down the mountain, it's not as high up in elevation, but you still get that mountainous type feel. Super small, like town, like super, super small. And so it was a small school, very family oriented, very like family feel. That was amazing for me. Like,
Yeah.
And
So they had a good culture and.
I mean, they've had success winning in the past. Facilities were sweet at the time. It was a new staff, and so it was being able to be under a new regime.
Gotcha. Yeah.
A new culture,
Like a new
something
era type of-
different.
yeah.
Yeah. So that way, again, like I said, my mindset was, how can I leave a legacy?
Yeah.
And I think that's one way is when you do come in with a new regime, new staff. I think that's it's easier to kind of leave a legacy than having to fill,
Yeah.
when you have to fill shoes.
Yeah. No, and I mean, obviously I didn't know you back then, or watch you play, but I mean, just when I was researching and looking at the stats and everything, it was clear that you did leave an impact on E&H, Emory Henry. At least from what I saw. You probably know more than I do. But it was cool to see that. I mean, because you were coming on, so I was like, I want to have the actual stats. So that's cool because your goal was to make a legacy. And so started with that. And then where did you go from? So I guess I should ask, because when it comes to coaching in football, because I know right now you are an offensive assistant.
Offensive assistant, yep.
But you were a running back coach. I also know there's quarterback coaches. So how many different coaches are there?
There's a lot.
Yeah, it depends on the staff.
Okay.
There's a
on the
lot.
staff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of jobs. It depends on where you're at, whether it's college, NFL, even high school, and it depends on the resources. Honestly, resources are going to determine how big of a staff you end up having.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of made up job titles that sound good that in one place means one thing and another place it means another thing. But, like I said, if you have the resources, I mean, you can have a staff. I mean, you have a staff as big as
You want
30, 25, 30 guys. Like, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I didn't even know that the chief staff was that big. I was like, hold on.
So we're actually on the smaller side.
Right. I was because after I looked at the chief staff, I was like, let me go look at some other teams.
Yeah.
And I looked at Denver's, I looked at New England's, and then I looked at Los Angeles. Like the I was like, oh my gosh, some of these teams have huge staffs, and there's like 18, 19 offensive coaches. I'm like, I don't need that many people.
But you do.
Yeah,
I was like, all of y'all ain't doing something. There's somebody back there just holding the pen. He's just like,
there's a lot of work behind the scenes. And like game day is the day of like all your preparation through the week. Mm-hmm. Game day should be like,
really,
it should be.
Game day should be the least stressful day.
Yeah, it should be.
And I was thinking it would be the most stressful.
Well, you spend the entire week prepping, getting guys ready. So like all your preparation during the week, that's going to determine how you play.
And so you have to
when it comes to
show
Sunday.
up at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were going to talk about your because you, I guess, transferred to Benedict College, right? From E&H.
So I left Emory and I went coach with one of my buddies, one of my former teammates from App. He was at a high school back close to home.
Oh, okay.
So I went back down there and I was actually there for a season with him.
Okay.
And so that was an experience, right? So going from college, then going to high school, like that was an experience.
I bet because college, I mean, they I guess
the program is different.
Well, just more so in terms of like, so when you get guys in college, they at least have some sort of knowledge, right? Like they've been developed they have some football knowledge. They like, you're not really working from square zero. When you talk about high school, especially getting kids fresh off like COVID and stuff.
Well, probably kids that probably never played before.
So you'll have some kids that never played that just decided, I'm gonna come out and play, right?
Oh my gosh.
But because there's levels to it, right? And I think at every level there's levels to it. So you'll always have the ones that, they're there, they want to be there, they enjoy it, they may not be the most talented.
Yeah.
Right. But like they like the game of football and they want to be a part of a team. Then you'll have the ones who work extremely hard. They're physically capped off at a certain point, right? So they get to a certain point and you're developing them. They're going to max out at a certain point, whether it's because of height, weight, arm length, speed, whatever it is. Like they get to a certain point to where they make it capped out. You're right. And so like they hit their prime per se in high school. It is, it is what it is. Then you'll get the ones who you can see them, their ceiling is continuing to rise. Those are the ones that you end up seeing. They're going to go in and play at the next level.
Gotcha.
right?
The
And
college,
there's
yeah.
different levels, right? So whether it's Division III, Division II, NAIA, FCS, Group of 5, Group of 4, like it, there's different levels to it, and obviously you'll be able to see that
Yeah.
physically, how they move, those types of things. It's kind of the same thing when you get to college as well. You're going to get some of the ones that, they get to college, they were good enough to get there, and they kind of capped off. So, they may be a practice, a practice guy
Yeah.
for the majority of their career, right? They may be a walk-on guy that, that is still talented, right? But there's just guys in front of them.
I mean, the
that are
higher
more
you get, the
developed.
higher caliber you've
Right.
got to be up to.
Right.
So
But then you're always going to have that 1%. And that 1% is, and that's every level. It's even in the pros, right? You got the 1%. The 1% are the guys that you see that are getting the multi-million dollar deals.
yeah.
And playing for like the longevity. Like that's that 1%.
Yeah.
In your coaching career, like whether at the high school level or at the college level, have you seen guys that their ceiling is endless right now? Like, but you literally watch them squander the opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's in everything, like not necessarily just sports. It's just for whatever reason it is. There's something that hinders them from achieving the absolute highest of their abilities. It's sad,
It's got to be frustrating too.
and it's frustrating.
Bro, like
and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's
You have to want it. I mean, you have to want
it's like, oh,
what,
man.
the goal.
Yeah.
Like I'd be so mad. I'm like, you could go so far.
yeah.
Yeah. So you went high school for a year, and then was that when you went?
Yep. Then I went to Benedict after that.
And did they? Again, I'm gonna ask you. Did they approach you? You approached them? How did that kind of?
So the guy that Ramon Robinson, he was my quarterback. I trained with him through like middle school through high school. So he was like my out of season, out of like school training like coach.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so he's a Benedict alum, Benedict Hall of Famer, played quarterback there. And so they needed a quarterback coach. And so I interviewed with Coach Barry. Again, had just taken over the program a year prior. So it's a new regime, new culture, changing it, all that. And so ended up interviewing, ended up getting the job there.
What was your role there?
So I was offense coordinator and quarterback coach.
Okay.
So you might have said this. Maybe I tuned out. But did you say that someone had told you about the opening, or was it like you heard about it?
So I had heard about it, and he had kind of done his part on the other end, and then I got a call.
Oh, so he had already like kind of looked you up and like maybe
my quarterback guy had already he got in contact with them.
Okay.
So
I wanted to ask you about the Bill Walsh Coaching Fellowship and how you got in. And how you got involved.
Did you do some research?
Bro, first of all, I'm taking questions from people that I told a lot of people that I was going to be talking to Kevin. And I told my dad is so proud of me right now. He said, man, the conversation, when I told him, I was like, hey, Dad, we're going to be doing this episode. We got this guy coming in. He's like, oh, man, you on your way. Oh, is it going to be on ESPN? No, it's not going to be on ESPN. No, what are you talking about?
Find us at 8:00.
My dad was for real. He called all of my brothers and told them what I was up to, who I was talking. I was like, oh my gosh, Dad, calm down. Anyway, he's got some questions for me too. But this question comes from a fellow coach, Brinkley, wanted to ask about this. She's looking to apply to the Bill Walsh Coaching Fellowship because I guess she knows that you did that as well. And so how did that process, how'd you hear about it? How did you get into it? Because I guess that is what led you, I guess, out of Benedict, right? Into...
Well, I guess I would ask, what is the Bill Walsh?
So the Bill Walsh Minority Fellowship is a fellowship that basically allows coaches, college, high school, ex-players to basically get them into NFL organizations
Okay.
during like the duration of training camp. So I got into the Bill Walsh prior to coaching at Benedict. So I was at Benedict. I got to Benedict in spring, was there through spring ball. Then I left to go do this over the summer leading into the fall season.
Okay.
And so
So you actually go somewhere for this?
so
Okay.
I was here. So I came to Kansas City
Okay.
in 22. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Summer of 22.
23 was your first season, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So summer 22. And so got to experience great St. Joseph, Missouri, Midwestern State University. And so I was here for about 3.5 weeks.
Okay.
And so, again, every team is different of how they do it. So I can only speak from my experiences and how that was. And so, you're here and you're part of this coaching staff for the duration of time that you're here. So typically it'll take you through that first preseason game. Some teams will elect to keep you for an entire year
Okay.
as an intern. So you end up staying through, the entire season, and they could potentially keep you on or whatever the case may be. So Dan Williams, who's currently on staff, assistant quarterbacks, him and I met back in 2017, back in our playing days.
Oh, wow.
And so we were in a NCAA immersion program, like minority program that was centered around athletic directors, like
Okay. Yeah.
college-wise, right? And so we came together. It was a group of maybe like 23, 24 of us, athletes from all these different schools, and come together. We go to the NCAA convention, and we're there with all these different athletic directors from all over. And that's where they do all their voting on different bylaws. And so we're in on all that, right? We're learning.
Yeah.
We're,
So it's kind of like a trial. The first, like when you come out,
kind
like a
of
interview?
shadowing.
Yeah.
Well, like you're kind of shadowing, seeing how they operate, seeing how they do things. As athletic directors and commissioners of different conferences, and like I said, they vote on different bylaws for different sports, and so like it was cool. So like that's how we met, and we stayed in contact ever since then. And so basically, he was able to put a word in to get me in for the
gotcha.
the fellowship. There's an application process.
Right.
So like you go through the process. I interviewed with the Bears and somebody else. It's like you go through, like it's a whole interview process,
So
all these different things.
Is it kind of like you put your resume out there and then they choose people who they, maybe not your resume, but like, they choose people to interview, or do you just choose to interview the people?
So I do think you put your resume in. I'm pretty sure I put my resume in. It's like a resume, but it's also like a portfolio of different things too. So like, it may be you coaching drills on the field. It may be you teaching in the, in the film room, different things like that. And so you can then elect if you want your stuff to go to just specific teams, or if you want it to go to everybody.
Okay.
So I made the mistake the first time I applied the year prior. I'm sitting there clicking, Panthers is close to home. Group of Falcons fan, let's do that. And then I'm like, so then it's like, man, I ain't hear from anybody. But you can literally just send it to all 32 teams. And then
And is that what you did the second time?
yeah, that's
Okay.
like all 32 teams.
And how many, so you said you interviewed for the couple.
Yeah, I think I had like interviewed twice. Like I had 2 interviews
And
out
then-
of sending it to, because there's so many people that apply.
I bet
for
it's crazy
the fellowship.
competitive.
So how did you get, and I do want to mention Benedict because I found out this earlier. I did not know this, but you won a championship there.
Yeah, we sure did.
That's right, because you have a ring, from what I understand.
Yeah, we were.
NCAA ring, is it right? No,
So
sorry.
we were.
Oh, jeez.
No, we're good. You know what I'm saying?
Get it together.
Clear it. That's right.
So we were SIAC conference champions, first in school history, 11-0 regular season. And then we were the D2 HBCU national champions.
That's what. Yeah.
And then we went to the playoffs. We were the number 1 seed in our region. But we ended up fallen short in the second round of the playoffs. But it was a extraordinary year.
Yeah, I mean,
And then after I left, they were able to do it again, run it back, and do it again, and so that was.
Did you go
great experience.
straight from Benedict to the Chiefs?
Yeah.
And were you going through that process where you came for a couple weeks?
So did the minority fellowship. Then I left and went back to Benedict. That's when we had our season, our historic season. And we went down, as our staff went down to New Orleans and coached in the Legacy Bowl.
Nice.
And basically it's all the top players in HBCU football. And, they're down there. They have a combine. So just guys trying to get to the NFL, trying to get to the CFL, whatever it is. We went down there. We coached in that event. On our way back, plane lands. We're in the car driving back from Charlotte because we flew out of Charlotte. So we're driving back to Columbia, South Carolina. It's about an hour drive. Get a call, Philadelphia number, and I'm just like, who is this? Voicemail. So it's Coach Reed, and so like that
Hold
was
on, wait a second.
Oh, yeah.
You just said voicemail. Like, are you saying that you?
because I was in the car with everybody, and so like
You saw your phone ring. I don't know this number.
I never.
no,
Listen,
it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that.
If I don't know the number, I'm not answering.
It was like I want to answer this, but I'm in a car with
Yeah,
5-6
you
people.
couldn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like time to place.
Wow,
So as soon as we get back, I get in my car, redial immediately.
Were you surprised when it was Andy Reid?
Yeah, just because it was kind of out of the blue. So
No, because like I imagine it was like a big surprise because one, it's a Philadelphia number, and you went there. Did you know how the fellowship went? Like after you were there for 3 weeks, and then that's you go home. You're like,
kinda. I had some conversations with a couple guys. So like I had.
So you felt good.
Yeah, like I felt that if something were to happen, there's a chance that something else could happen.
Because then you leave there, you go back, you have your great season, and then you're just like after that incredible season, is it okay? Or in your mind, if that phone call doesn't come, and in your mind you're like, we're just gonna do next season.
Yeah, we're wife loves Columbia.
Okay.
I love Columbia. Like.
Okay,
It was
so cool. It's like, hey, we had a great season, guys. Next year we're gonna run it back. All right,
Thank
We
you.
had a great staff.
Which and they did run it back, right? You
Yeah,
said?
we had a great staff. We had a hell of a. Can I say that?
Yes. Yeah.
Levi cusses. Don't worry.
We had a
have
hell
never.
of a recruiting class.
Okay.
Like, we reloaded, and so then it was one of those things. It was like, that's an opportunity that you can't really pass up. Especially in the journey of coaching, it helped basically get to the point of having seen so many levels of football and having been able to coach so many different levels of football.
So my question for you is, okay, so I remember you were talking about earlier in your journey, you were given an opportunity to coach, and they said take some time to think about it.
Yep.
Was this the same scenario when you got that phone call? You said, hey, take some time to think about it, or were you like, yes, I'm in?
It was if you're interested, we'll fly you up to Indianapolis to the combine on Wednesday, and we'll talk in person. So fly up there on Wednesday, fly back Wednesday night, and he calls me the next day. I accept the job. I'm here on Monday.
Already working?
Wait, so
Wow.
Didn't you have a spouse during this time? where was the conversation? Like, hey, we moving. Like
The conversation was.
I guess the bigger question is, how supportive was your spouse during this whole process?
Very, because she's still here.
Okay, but did she have any like hesitations or nerves around like this transition, the opportunity? It's a great opportunity, but is there hesitation on her part?
Yeah. Because it was so sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And She works. She
Was this
loves
when,
what she does.
Was this when she was in South Carolina? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because I'm through talking to her, I know that she really enjoyed her job in South Carolina.
she really enjoyed it.
The team and everything.
She really enjoyed it, and so it was.
I'm interjecting. We weren't married yet. We were still planning a wedding.
Whenever.
Well, he said spouse.
Yes, but we weren't married.
Yeah, we weren't married.
So when
yet.
this sorry, off camera conversation.
So she didn't really have any say so.
Oh, yeah, never mind then.
So it was like.
Myself had to finish planning our wedding, completely pack up our house, sell our house, all by myself because he was already out here.
Can we get a camera on her real quick?
He was like, yeah, she was supportive. I held it down.
Look, she's back there. She's like, you better tell.
Like, hold up.
So for all of our fans that because that part's getting cut out.
The fiance is the unsung hero.
Yeah,
here.
she held it down. No, she really did though. And like she said, I mean, we were still planning our wedding, and we were getting married a couple months later, and so I mean, it was so basically I'd be here for a few weeks, go back, and like it was back and forth. Wow. But then it got to the point to where it was like, all right, I got to get out of this hotel room. Find we gotta
Because you didn't
live
have a place
somewhere.
Yeah.
So we came out. She came out with me for a day. We looked around, found a place, and so then I was there for another 3 months before she came out because I ended up flying out for our wedding. Or no, excuse me, I drove out for our wedding.
Oh.
I drove out for our wedding because
And was the wedding in South Carolina or Virginia?
it was in North Carolina.
Or North Carolina?
Close, in between.
You've lived in multiple states. I'm
yeah.
trying to get them.
So I drove out, and the reason for that was so that way I could bring some stuff back, bring one of the dogs back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I drove out for our wedding. Literally, we got married, and then I rolled out like I had to roll out the next day. So we did our honeymoon when we were off over the summer.
That's right. Where did you guys go?
Disney World.
Disney World. That's right. Yes. Okay. And so I
Most
don't even
magical
think
place on earth.
that's right. I don't know if I mentioned this up front. The reason how I kind of got to know Kevin is I work with his wife, out with through my job, and so I've gotten to get to know her really well, and through that I've got to know you a little bit, and has been really cool. And obviously, she tells you that her husband works for the Chiefs, and so instantly I'm like, wait, what? The Chiefs? She drops the bomb. It's no big deal.
I have a question. You said the honeymoon had to wait until after you were married and you went to Disney World. Now, if I'm correct, when you got the job at Kansas City, isn't that the same year y'all went to the Super Bowl and won? And don't all the players go to Disney World after the Super Bowl?
No, not all the players.
Because I'm about to say, did you just
player.
piggyback off of a celebration and a free ticket to Disney World? Like, hey, we gonna do our honeymoon.
Hey, babe, I booked it.
I got no benefits of that Super Bowl, that first one.
You were there.
No, I wasn't there yet. I got there after the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So the Super Bowl was in February. I got there in March.
That's
the
funny.
very first one.
Because we won two. He won we won 2 in a row. He wasn't there for the first one.
Yeah, I was there for the second.
Oh, I was about to say, sir, you.
Yeah.
Which that's a kind of a question I have. You did get the opportunity to coach in the NFL, which would be the dream job. And Kansas City's been in its prime now. And so you happened to get chosen to be on the Chiefs team. What was in your mind was because you're in that world, it may not seem like as a big of a deal, or was it a big deal? Like, how did you feel? Like Patrick Mahomes is a big name. Mm-hmm. He's been a big name in football the last 5-7 years. And so now you're going to be one of the people coaching him. So what was that anything that was going through your mind, or what was that thought process like?
I mean, for me, it was another opportunity, another opportunity for me to make a name for myself and enjoy doing what I love, in coaching football. And so, I've never really been a starstruck kind of person.
Yeah.
Like that's never really been a thing for me because everyone's a person, right? Pat's a person. Coach Reed's a person. Like
Yep.
everybody's a person. So same, they have the same issues that we
Yeah.
deal with. It doesn't seem like it, but
Well, that's
everybody's
because you're not gonna see the the stuff. You see what's on TV, and that's
yeah.
coaching and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so like that's kind of my thing. Like it was another opportunity for me. A lot of excitement, obviously, because you want to be successful. Like you don't want to go into a situation where you're thinking night in and night out, man, am I going to have a job?
Yeah.
Am I going to have a job? Right. So the security of the job, that was exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we just come off of the Super Bowl championship.
Going into a good situation. And then being able to get to that point of getting to the Super Bowl, right? The greatest game, the biggest game.
Yeah. Well, and that was kind of my next question is, your first year coaching in the NFL, you're with the Chiefs, we go to the Super Bowl, we win. I mean, that's a dream season right there for a coach.
Especially coming off of a historic season
at Benedict
elsewhere, right? Like, I mean, even prior to that, going to making a run in the playoffs with this, at the high school level, a team that hadn't been to the playoffs in years.
Yeah.
Right. We go on the road and we beat 1 seed, 2 seed, and like we're beating these higher seeds as a lower seed and making a run. Prior to that, playing in the conference championship at Emory before I leave, like, right. So it's just like, because that's what like you do these things, everything you do to be successful.
Yeah. You want to get to that championship.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you want to win.
Yeah.
And so it just felt like that felt amazing. Have, success after success, and it just continues to kind of stack.
What was the transition like from college to NFL? Was it much different? Or was it kind of the same things you were already doing, or was it not? Like, was it different than you expected? Were you prepared?
I can actually answer this question for now.
Okay.
Here we go. Very different. Very different in the sense of I did not have the opportunity to like GA young, like early on in my coaching career. Mm-hmm. So immediately coming in as a position coach, then the next year being promoted to the offense coordinator, and then just being an offensive coordinator at that point on, then getting here, and now I'm essentially in a GA type of role in the NFL. So now the little things, the little fine details, all those little things matter that much more. Mm-hmm. So what it's helped me with a lot is because I do want to be a head coach.
Okay.
So it's helped me with seeing that side of it, the head coach perspective, because I do work with coach, day to day, all day long. So I'm seeing a different viewpoint, a different angle, rather than seeing it from a position coach standpoint or a coordinator standpoint.
In your career so far, you've gotten to work with so many different professionals in the field, and especially, I mean, it's just really cool. And I love to hear the success. You're kind of a fun fact for you guys, is that Trey technically has attended a Super Bowl?
Technically, he's been to 2.
Did he go to the second one?
Yeah, he was there this year.
I thought he stayed home. Okay, she lied.
Yeah, I mean, he was out there. He didn't go to the game, but I mean, he was out there.
Okay. Yeah, well, and because she was pregnant.
But at the game, yeah, he was, yeah.
You are so goofy.
Well, no, here's the thing. Can I say about her pregnancy story with Super Bowl? You're like, what are you going to say?
We signed the waivers.
Basically, she was 9 months pregnant when the Super Bowl was happening. Mm-hmm. And I don't think her doctor probably wanted her to go.
Yeah, doctor said,
But it was one of those things. It's like, my husband's going to the Super Bowl first year. She was ready to have the baby at the stadium, I feel like.
We had, so basically we told our doctor, we were like, we've got a doula that's going to be with us. We've got multiple doctors. So, like, if it's meant to happen, we're in good hands.
Yeah.
Shout out All State. No, but no. So that gave our doctor a little bit more peace of mind for her going. We originally had the plan of my father-in-law flying here. They were going to drive, but our team doctor or our head athletic trainer basically talked her out of it because they were like, it's basically, if you've never driven from Kansas City to Vegas, you get to a certain stretch in there, it's dead area.
The good old Kansas. You go. Oh yeah.
So then at that point, you're better off just flying with everybody else.
Yeah.
And if it happens, it happens, rather than going into labor in one of these dead spots. There's no hospitals. There's no, there's nothing. So, but he was not born in Vegas. If anybody was curious, we made it back here. No issues. Then just 24 hours of labor.
It was really cool because I mean that's when I was starting to get to know more. And
Yeah.
I don't even think I had met you, I think, because we were just talking about upstairs the Easter thing.
Yeah.
That was when I had first met you. But I got to watch Lauren her whole pregnancy and just kind of I know there was a lot there. And so it was really cool to watch Trey just be such a joy in your guys' life. And how has that been being a dad now and coaching in the NFL? Because we haven't talked about it, but what's the time commitment to the NFL like as a coach? Is it a typical 40-hour job? Is it?
I wish.
You wish.
Honestly, the time right now has been amazing. Because I am home for dinner. I'm off for, a week or 2 weeks at a time. So I'm able to spend that with him. Like I have him during the day. And just because there's a lot of time that I missed out on during the year.
Yeah.
Because like during the season, we talked about it earlier. I mean, it's pretty much 16, 18-hour days, on average, Monday through Thursday. Yeah. There's times I might get home at 1 and alarm's going off at 4. So I can get, I got to get up and get in, right? So I'm coming home to take a nap.
I'd be crying.
Yeah.
And is that all the coaches or is it the player?
Yeah, no,
the players?
So the players kind of have their own NFLPA. So they have certain rules and guidelines and stuff, but every staff's different. It just kind of depends on who you work for and their approach to it. And coach is old school, and so we we're in there, we're grinding, getting after. But again, the results show. So
it translates.
Yeah. So I mean, it sucks. You know what I mean? Especially when they're young, super young. And so you want to be there every minute that you can. And so, like I said earlier, I mean, home games, I'll see them twice a week. So I'll see them Friday when I get off, usually around like 5. And so I'll see them for the evening. We typically will go to dinner.
Yeah.
And then if we're at home, then I'll see them Saturday during the day. So I'll go in early Saturday morning, leave mid-morning, right around 11. So then I got pretty much the rest of the afternoon till about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then we go to the team hotel. And so I'm there for the night.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was about to ask a real stupid question. I was like,
No,
wait,
I was
gonna say the Chiefs have a hotel, but it's where they're the town.
Yeah, where we stay.
I was going to ask you, you said y'all go to dinner on Friday night. Where are you going to dinner at?
It just it depends on what we're in the mood for.
You got some go-tos?
Well, okay. So actually, when we have people in town, if they come in on Thursday and they're here Friday, we typically we'll go to Q39. That's typically where we go. So whether it's Friday night or Saturday afternoon before I have to go to the hotel, that's people come in. It's all right,
is that your favorite barbecue here?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Q39
his favorite, and that's
where
one of my
that's where
favorites.
I go for my birthday. Birthday Q39.
Yeah.
If I'm picking barbecue.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this year I'm gonna do something else. I was gonna ask. I wanted to ask you. My dad's gonna kill me if I don't ask this question, but I'm gonna wait to ask it.
Well, we're almost out of time, so we need.
Yeah, I know. So, who in the locker room has some of like the weirdest like game day like superstitions or antics or like protocols, or like who's got the weirdest one where you're like, that's what you're doing?
I don't know.
Or rituals, like game day rituals.
I think a lot of those guys. I think a lot of guys are superstitious. Like from coaches to players, like a lot of guys are superstitious.
Like
Really?
wear the same hat, wear the same type
So
of.
superstitious, and it's just like
And so, what is your specific role within the Chiefs? I know you are the offensive assistant. You're basically right under Andy Reid. So what does that entail as far as duties?
a lot.
And I know you work. If I'm correct me. Do you work closely with the quarterbacks, Patrick, tight ends? Do you work everyone?
with those guys? I mean, I'm around everybody.
Yeah.
But I do a lot. The day to day, like how we operate on the day to day, like I got like my stuff's got to be on point,
Yeah.
or else we are all out of whack.
Yeah.
So my dad wants to know, why is it on first down y'all don't throw a Hail Mary? He asks it every play. Why is it not first down?
Low percentage.
Thank you. You
Low percentage.
say it to the camera so my dad sees.
It's low percentage. That's all I got.
My dad, he's you don't understand how bad my dad wants to get up there and coach y'all. Just tell y'all what to do. Why? First down, throw a Hail Mary. He calls it the bomb. Throw the bomb. And I'm just like, Dad.
We probably could. But we want to win first downs. We want to stay ahead of the sticks.
Yeah.
You want to be smart. So I know we're getting close on time, but two more things to wrap it up. One, you kind of mentioned earlier your goal is head coach. I was going to ask you what do you see Kevin next? But are you wanting to be a head coach in the NFL, or do you want to go back to the college level, or what's kind of the dream? What's the vision for you?
I think I have always been more of like a college guy. And so, I would love to get back to college and be a college head coach. But no doors closed, right? So, if the opportunity comes in the NFL,
sure.
like,
If Atlanta call you, like, hey,
you have to do what's best for,
Yeah.
he's got a son to
for
think
you,
about, man.
but yeah.
Cool. What has been, I forgot the other question, so I'm going to make up another one. What has been your favorite part about what's been the favorite place you've lived?
The best place that I've lived,
KC.
Kansas City's been great. The food's been great. We have a great spot, quiet neighborhood. We've been able to get a lot of support, which, that was big for my wife coming out here because we have no family out here. So it's been great here. Columbia was great.
Got Grandma Bev now.
Got Grandma Bev. But Columbia was great. Kind of the same thing. Food was amazing. That was closer to home because, like, I used to drive that basically from Charlotte to Columbia. I was driving like an hour and a half one way.
Dang.
Every day until we moved.
Where at North Carolina did you grow up at?
Outside of Charlotte, Indian Trail.
How far is that from Mint Hill? Do you know where Mint Hill
15
is?
minutes.
Oh,
10
okay.
minutes.
Okay. I know someone that lives out there now, but grew up in Mint Hill, and it's always stuck. And I was wondering because I don't hear people from North Carolina a lot. So,
Do you know where they went to high school? Did they go to Independence? Does that sound right? Or did they go to Butler?
I don't remember.
Gotcha.
I'll tell you his name later. We can see. But
Well, hey, if you're listening, what's up?
This is a good question to end on. So we know that the Super Bowl was not how we wanted it to go this past year. So you, first year, went to Super Bowl, dream season. We were going for that second season. Obviously, that did not happen the way we wanted. What was that dynamic like?
It was just it was a hard game just to be a part of in general.
What do you do? Like, are you trying to cheer the the players up at or encourage the players at that point, or like
What point though? Like
Yeah,
during
I mean,
the
it's
game
just-
or
it's
like
just-
after the game?
It's hard.
yeah.
That's at every level, like those types of games are hard. Because you just feels like no matter what, like nothing goes your
you can't
way.
get ahead, yeah.
You can't get going. So it's just like I said, it's a hard dynamic.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's the Super Bowl or not, like those types of games are they're hard to be a part of.
Yeah. It's hard watching it as a fan. But I mean,
yeah, I can imagine.
I can imagine just seeing the players on the sideline during it. No, you can see it in their eyes, when they're dealing with that. And so I was just kind of curious about that. And I mean, there's so much more that we could probably dive into.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Way to end on a real low note there. Okay, on a happier note, who's the funniest dude on the team?
Chris Jones and Mike Pennell together.
Really?
Those two together.
Like, I'll have you rolling?
They're
the funniest people on the team. Now, okay.
Kings of Comedy type, like hysterical.
So, are there pranksters on the team? Or is it
That I don't know. We have a prankster on on our football staff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Not within coaching. Not within
Okay, I was
the
going to say, is it
coaches,
you?
but on our football staff. I'm not going to name drop him.
But he knows.
Just in case he may be tuned in.
They know who they are.
But he knows who he is.
And he's coming for you.
He's one of my favorite people.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Are there ever? I mean, obviously there are plays that don't, like when you draw up plays and the things don't execute or whatever. But are there ever moments like during the game where someone doesn't make an assignment or run the play that like y'all ran and you're just like, what did you just do? Like, how does that conversation like what happened? And he's just like,
Yeah, I mean it happens. There's so much going on. So I mean your attention to detail and your focus has to be locked in
Yeah.
every play. So you have those moments sometimes and a lot of times they know if they run the wrong route or they have a blown assignment. They know. Like
Okay,
so it's not it's not a
What do you mean I ran the wrong way?
yeah. It's not none of
If
that.
you're in the NFL,
You know what I mean?
you should know.
I think
that's on me right there.
Most
That's mine.
most cases.
I want to say this was 23. Is that when we did the circle play where they spun and then went out? I want to say it was in playoffs or the Super
it
Bowl.
was a playoff game.
That was before I got here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
that
I was going to
that
ask if you
before.
were part of that play.
Yeah, that was before I got
I think-
here.
Nah, he ain't had nothing to do with that.
Gotcha.
Hey,
We do need to go into our final segment. So our weekly segment it's called That's Crazy. Right now there's a bumper playing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I got another question for him. That's crazy. He may not even be able to answer it. Who the mustiest dude in the locker room?
Don't know.
Well, because you probably don't interact in the locker room.
No.
Yeah. So when you're interacting with players, it's mainly practicing field, on the field,
Yeah.
things like that. Okay. Cool. Is there any other secrets that we need to know?
Hot take. Wait, what is the
No,
final
go
segment
ahead.
called?
Go ahead. What you
No,
about
what
to
is it
say?
called again?
It's
What is
called
it
That's
again?
Crazy.
All right, here we go. That's crazy. All right. Here's my hot take. There will be a part 2.
Oh,
There will be a
I've
part
never
2.
been more excited for
First
something
off,
like that.
we didn't ask him, so thank you.
There will be a part 2. We're gonna dive outside of just football. We're gonna get into
Wrestling.
I was gonna say,
we'll get into a lot more.
Yeah.
Right. But honestly, leave you guys with this, just in a world of all these different things that we have going on, with celebrities, politics, all these different things. We as people just find a way to love one another, accept other people's opinions, be okay with other people's opinions. It's okay to have your own opinion, but we need to get back to that point of just loving each other, being, being there for each other, being able to sit down, have a conversation, laugh about it, and then, be able to move on and go from there. So, that's, to me, man, that's something that I've always kind of had a heavy heart about and think about all the time. Just, you just see so much craziness.
So much
in this
hate.
world.
Hate has just become so common.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
So,
but if you don't agree with somebody, hit him with an RKO.
hey, you know what that is now.
Yeah.
He didn't know what it was when I first told him.
We got to make sure that we got to get a video of that pops up when I say that.
Well, it's funny because even when you mentioned Allstate, I'm laughing in my
Thanks
head.
for watching.
Because my wife it'll be like Allstate coming across the screen. So it's just,
I love it.
It's funny. I don't even have anything with a weekly 70, and I feel like that was a great way to end.
It was a great way to end. I'm not even going to state my BS.
That's
We're
right.
Gonna say it for another episode.
Kevin, thanks for coming out.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Kevin, for coming out.
Appreciate y'all for having me. Thank y'all for watching. Just stay tuned for the next segment.
Yeah, new co-host right here, guys.
Yep. I'm out.